Just in time to show you how I did my old Christmas automation. Let's get to it. You're gonna need at least a smart plug to perk your Christmas string lights. I only did one, but that's up to you. Not necessarily, but it's even better to have smart bulbs. I'm using Philips Hue lights because it allows me to create dynamic scenes. Any smart TV or smart TV box, like the Apple TV, which works pretty great, but any smart TV Android-based works as well. And finally, some way of triggering the automation. I personally love the Sun Off button because it's pretty simple, it's cheap, and it has 3 triggers mode: single tap, double tap, and long press. The first thing that we want to do on Home Assistant is create a virtual switch or input boolean that is gonna tell us if the Christmas scene is on or off. Why? Because when you push this button, it doesn't tell you if it's on or off, it just gives you an action. So let's go into the Integrations tab, Helpers, and create a helper of type toggle, and name it Christmas scene toggle. And we can even put a pine tree. Next, we want to create an automation, and we're gonna create multiple triggers. The first one being what happens when we press the button. So let's select our button, and when we have a single action trigger, we're gonna give this trigger a trigger ID, button pressed, and then what happens when the button is pressed. So let's say choose, because we're gonna add more things afterwards. The first condition then is going to be the trigger ID that we just defined. So when it's triggered by button pressed, what we're going to do is simply that we're going to toggle our helper toggle, which is Christmas scene. So switch, toggle, and it's input boolean toggle, it's not a switch. And we're going to choose Christmas scene toggle. Now we're gonna add additional triggers, which is when the Christmas scene is on or off. So entity, state, Christmas scene toggle, when it's on, and when it's off. We're gonna give them trigger IDs as well. Scene on and scene off. And then we just need to add the following options: condition trigger ID, scene on, and scene off. And it's basically, now you just need to feel every action that you want to execute depending on when the scene is on or is off. For example, you could turn on a smart plug. Like here, I have my Lego smart plug that I can turn on. I have all my Christmas string lights on the Lego smart plug, so I just need to turn it on. Then you can turn on and set other smart lights as well, by area, by rooms, or by device themselves, setting the appropriate color, brightness, animation, and so on. If you're lucky enough to have some smart lights that allow you to set complete scenes, like the Philips Hue ones, for example, you can just activate a scene. On my side, I'm using Festive Fun by Philips Hue, which I like. Then if you want to cast something on the TV, like I did for my automation, you just need to use the power of what we call deep links. It works for the Apple TV, it works for Android-based TVs. I'll show you how it works. Basically, you need to go, if you want to cast a YouTube video, let's look for Fireplace. Just copy the URL of the video that you want, and then add the action. So media player, play media, choose the device. As you can see here, I have all the Android TVs and the Apple TV, but it works, I think it works also for HomePods and probably Google Home speakers and so on. So I'm gonna select the Apple TV. The content ID, you just need to paste the YouTube URL that we copied before, with behind YouTube, semicolon, and double slash. This is what's gonna tell the TV to go to a certain URL using a certain application. This thing at the beginning of the URL is gonna tell the TV to open an application, and the content type, obviously, URL. And that's it. Now you need to fill the opposite things on the when the Christmas scene is off, turn off the smart plugs, stop the TV, and so on. Finally, the most important thing to do is to change the execution mode of this automation. We need to put it in queued or parallel. Why? Because what's happening is that when you're gonna press the button here, it's gonna trigger the automation twice. First, when you press the button, it's gonna toggle the Christmas scene toggle that we created earlier, and then immediately after, execute it another time to run all the things that we told him to do here. Therefore, if you leave it as is, meaning the single mode of automation, Home Assistant might not catch what happens after the Christmas scene toggle is on, because everything happens so fast, you need to either queue the next run of the automation or make it run in parallel. And that's it. As per usual, you're gonna be able to find all the products I mentioned in my bio. See you soon and Merry Christmas.